We agree with your shirt completely.
Awesome.
It's what we talk about all day, every day, except it's not force, it's source. And source never forces. Source just is, and you let it in. We're going to have you take that shirt off, actually. So, what's on your mind?
Good morning, Abraham. Thank you. Love you. I brought my treasure map this morning. I'm seeking clarity on manifestation. I'm able to win games by feeling what it would feel like to win the game. With the goal of creating enjoyment for the group, I can sway the outcome to even out wins for other people. I see this in other areas of my life. I like to share the good feelings and wealth. Is this intention of sharing with the group hampering my manifestation potential?
Oh, you've said so much, and it's all so good. So first of all, you're talking about your power of influence. You're talking about life helping you to identify a desire and you coming into complete alignment with it, and therefore finding influence, focusing without contradiction is powerful thought. There's such leverage in it. You're really going to like how all of this fits together. It's a perfect unfolding of questions which will give us the perfect trail for the answer that you're looking for. So start with the idea of influence and think about how it feels when you focus and you know even before there's evidence of you knowing. You just know. And then the evidence matches your knowing. So some would say, well, is he just psychic? Did he tap into something that was already known, or did he influence the outcome? And we say both of those things happen all the time. But in the context of your question, when we're talking about influence, we're talking about you deciding and you having decided enough and gained enough confidence in your own decisions and enough belief in your own desires that there is not just desire or hope, there is knowing. So there's no contradiction, just that powerful, leveraged, focused thought energy. You are absolutely influencing outcomes, or the way we like to say it, you're creating your own reality. So now you bring others into the equation. And that's when it becomes a little more important that you have your steady alignment, because it's not what others think about what you're doing that hinders you, or that contradicts your energy, or that adds clutter to your vibration. It's what you think about what they think that does that. And so when you are sharing the outcome because you're just inspired to do so, so there's no contradiction whatsoever, then there's no contradiction whatsoever and all goes well. But if you start having second thoughts about it, largely because of what they have to say with you about it, in other words, if you allow them to put any pressure on you and you take that on, then you just lose your own connection, and therefore you do not have as clear of leverage, and therefore your power of influence is not as strong. And then it just becomes a guessing game. And that's what makes people talk about odds and statistics, which are irrelevant to this conversation. Did we get there for you?
Yes.
More questions about it?
I have another question.
So that one is completely answered?
Yeah, it's really hot here. Hot seat. Yes.
All right.
I'm seeking the balance point between deliberately pre-paving and allowing source to fill in my grid. Where's the balance there?
It is a really good question. And it's a question that starts in an even simpler place. Am I the deliberate creator of my own experience, or is somebody else creating it and I'm just allowing it to be? Which is what a lot of people think. But consider with us the process that we've been teaching you, that there are a few steps to the process. Step one is contrast helps you to clarify your desire. Bit by bit, you come to greater and greater clarity about what you are asking for. So step 1 is ask. Step 2 is Source fills in all around that. Source fills in around it, holds a focus on your desire, absent of any of the resistance that you lived that made you come to the desire. Source just focuses on your desire, purely on your desire. And then law of attraction begins to respond to everything about it, to you and where you are, to your inner being or your source and where your source is. So as law of attraction responds to the desire that you have given birth to the desire that source is tending to and adding to, because all of the cooperative components are coming in response to source's point of view. So now step 1 has happened, and step 2 continues to happen, and then step 3 is you got to be in the receiving mode for you to receive the manifested version of what you've asked for. You ask, and the vibrational version began immediately. But the vibrational version, while it can feel good and while it can give satisfaction, is not enough. You're here in physical form. You want to manifest things. So you're manifesting. So now here's where the important, we don't want to say crucial because it's not risky. We don't want to say critical because it's not hard. But here's where the emphasis or the focus on your part comes. And here's where the distinction in your question is answered. So if you are clear about what you want and you find yourself not wavering in it, then the more attention you give to it, the more fun it is and the faster it comes about. But if you gave birth to something more based on what you didn't want, and so you gave birth to what you did want, but your vibration is more about what you don't want, which is pretty normal in the beginning, then the less involved in thinking about it you are, the better you will move it along. So here's the distinction that you're looking for. Am I the creator of my own reality, or am I just letting somebody else create my own reality? Am I just chilling while source takes over? And you have to understand that source didn't determine for you what to ask for. Source didn't decide for you. Your life experience caused you to ask. But it is based upon who you really are and how you want to feel. It's not possible for you as a human to ask for something outside of the asking that you as an extension of source would ask for without feeling negative emotion. In other words, you couldn't decide that you're going to do something that would negatively affect a large number of people and take your source along with you. Your source isn't going, which means you're going to feel a struggle or a tug of war in that process. So now ask your question again, exactly as you asked it before, because it was perfectly worded.
I want to know the balance point, deliberately pre-paving and allowing source to fill in my grid.
Do you like the idea of being a creator?
Oh, yeah.
So do you want somebody else to fill it all in for you?
No.
Well, isn't that the answer? But here's the thing that we really want you to understand. You don't know this usually, but you filled it all in as you were exploring contrast and asking for this and this and this and this and this. You want niceness, and you want prosperity, and you want to know your own value, and you want productivity, and you want personal expansion, and you want upliftment for yourself and for others. Through all that you've been living, you've been asking for specific things on all manner of subjects, and that vortex has been spinning that. It's been in the process of becoming, so it's been pre-paved. When you look at some of the processes that we've offered over the years, things like pre-paving, which means thinking intentionally, or scripting, which is like telling the story the way you want it to be, or defining what you want with more determination, more deliberateness, or focus wheels, or any of those things that we told you they are creative tools. What we now want you to hear is those weren't the tools that created it. Life helped you to create it. Those were the tools that helped you to line up with what you'd already created. Can you feel that?
Yes.
So The grid will fill in. Everything that you want will fill in. Everything that you want will fill in, unless you do that thing that you do that keeps that from happening. The analogy that you may have heard us use, it's our favorite for years. The cork is floating on the surface of the water, and that's up there where pure positive energy is. You can hold it under the water, force it down. That's what negative emotion is. But when you let go, it will bob back up. It will, because buoyancy is its natural state of being. And recently, we've been teasing you. We've been saying that some of you, it's like you're vacuuming your floor, but you are not plugging your vacuum cleaner in. So you're going through a lot of motion, and you look really diligent, and you should get some sort of credit for your effort. And you are making a lot of marks on the floor, which looks like something's going on, but you're not really fulfilling your intention unless the vacuum cleaner is plugged into the electricity so that it's sucking. So now imagine that you are the vacuum cleaner, and that the electrical cord knows that it wants to be connected to source. So it has a knowing consciousness of its own. It's just moving, looking for the plug. And unless you're swatting it out of the way, or tripping over it, or yanking on it, it will plug itself in. And so will you. In other words, unless you do that thing, you're already tuned in. And when you're tuned in, then things are working out for you. So really what you're helping us to begin this segment, just in the way we like to, is we want you to see the big picture of how you've come to explore and to decide and to ask and to get the energy flowing. And you've come, and these are the words that we think are maybe the most productive in your mind, you've come to turn thoughts to things. You've come to consider life and to think about it and to observe it in order to decide, and then to focus once you've decided. You've come to focus thoughts into things. And so what we want you to feel in your question is, how actively involved do you want to be as you turn those thoughts to things? Because there's something to be said for just asking in general terms about living happily ever after and not getting in your way of that and wonderful things happening to you. That's a pretty nice life. But there's something even more wonderful to be said about a contrast in life that makes you define what you specifically want, what you uniquely want, what you want as a result of this life experience and this particular exposure to this piece of life experience, and what it caused you to desire. Because this combination of beings has never been before into all of the universe. You have never been before unto all of the universe. In other words, you are uniquely you. You're all that you were, all that you've ever been, and now here you are with this set of contrasting experiences to inspire you to more evolution. And so, yes, the grid will fill in. Yes, it will happen. Yes, it is inevitable that it will. But you came to be a part of this creative process. You came to direct it. You came to define it. You came to experience the deliciousness of it, you see. You came for this reason, to feel the satisfaction of flowing energy toward things that your life has helped you to define. And so we think deliberate creation has much more potential for the satisfaction that is the primary reason that you came, than just to come bipping along, living happily ever after, and just let good things come to you. While that's not a bad life either. Most humans choose another option. They know what they don't want and they know what they do want, but they focus more on what they don't want, so they don't let it come in any way, not really deliberately. They sort of stumble into their alignment. But when you start doing your alignment on purpose and thinking on purpose and guiding your thoughts on purpose, and when you know that you're in alignment, then really turning on the juice and really focusing and using your words to emphasize it, you can feel your personal power of influence. It's so wonderful when you tap into the energy that creates worlds and you witness the energy that creates worlds responding to you on your behalf. There is nothing more delicious than that. And when you are guiding it incrementally, that's when you're excited. That's what passion is. That's what exhilaration is. That's what your most alive state is. Helpful?
Very much so.